first family isn't the only family talking about a college gap year around the dinner table. News that President Obama's daughter, Malia, plans to take a year off before heading to Harvard has stirred the debate between a lot of parents and students. And my next guest is jumping in with 5 reasons to say yes to a college gap year. Meg Radunich joins me. She's an academic counselor at Utah Valley University. It's always great to see you.
Thanks.
You know, there's some raised eyebrows out there among parents when they're hearing an academic counselor might be recommending, in fact, taking a break off before that first year. This term gap year was new to me when Malia Obama made that decision. That was the first year I'd heard it labeled as such. Is this a fairly popular decision?
You know, it's not, and it's actually pretty typical among individuals who are from pretty affluent families. I think that's what's typical, and it certainly makes sense for Malia Obama that she can go to Harvard with a little more anonymity, with taking a year off when her father's out of office.
Absolutely.
But what I'm seeing is students that take a year off between high school and college to simply save money for college, paying for it themselves, and they're taking a gap year.
So for those with more affluent families, perhaps it might be a year to travel, a year to experience, but from the practical standpoint, it could be a money-saving opportunity too.
Absolutely, and I've seen students do everything from they'll go live in New York or Boston for a year and they'll work as a nanny through an established nannying agency, or they'll volunteer with AmeriCorps. They'll get a little living stipend. They probably don't save very much money, but they probably break even.
I get the experience, right?
Exactly, and go experience a different part of the country. Why not?
Well, it's certainly not right for every student out there, and perhaps not right for every family, but you have 5 reasons to perhaps consider it and consider supporting your student in making that decision. First, you say there's this effect of high school burnout that is real. Yes,
high school burnout is real, and we're seeing mental health issues on the rise on college campuses, depression, anxieties, and what I like about, well, I had one student put it to me this way. He said, I feel like I've been running at full speed on this college prep treadmill since junior high school, and I'm getting to college and I already feel fatigued. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if you could have a year to experience something outside of the world of academia before you jump right back in?
Are most colleges, for the most part, willing to put it off a year? You apply, you get accepted, they'll let you put it off for a year?
They are. In fact, a lot of top colleges and universities, Harvard among them, they encourage this among their students.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You say also that year off, if it's done well, if it's done right, it can really help these students, these kids, develop those life skills.
Absolutely. And in Psychology Today, there was a great article by Peter Gray. He's a professor, and he noticed that there's this decline in student resiliency among these millennial students that are coming to college. He said that they're almost having these emotional crises over everyday, just adult issues, that they can't navigate the complexities of adulthood.
Our own Dr. Liz Hell described them as teacups, right? They're so fragile, they break at every little
Absolutely. They're going to the mental health counseling services because someone didn't like their picture on Instagram, right? And I feel like
that brings up a whole other set of issues.
Right, and so, and you know, it breaks your heart, doesn't it?
A little bit.
So wouldn't it be nice if they could take a year to learn the ins and outs of adulthood, kind of learn to be a little more resilient, learn to pay their own rent, you know, manage a budget, deal with some of those adult issues before they get to college, and then we start asking them, now what do you want to do with the rest of your life?
That leads into another reasoning that you say parents might want to consider wrapping their minds around, that these students might have a chance, and if they don't already know, to explore their personal interests, see what major or field of study might, you know, particularly interest them. This next one surprised me though. You say that it could help students, this gap year could help students cope with rejection from a top school.
So I think, you know, we all know those students who have been walking around since the time they were little. They've had a dream school. I'm going to Stanford, I'm going to BYU, and then they get that rejection letter. And that can be really tough for them because their whole world has been, you know, revolving around that they're going to go to this top college. And what I like about a gap year is it gives them some perspective. They can also take that year to reapply if they want. It is important to note, though, that the likelihood of them getting in that second time is not great. But it gives them some perspective. Send them on a humanitarian trip. Send them traveling around the country, and they realize that they don't necessarily need to go to a prestigious college to be successful in life.
So it's not just a lick your wounds, sore loser type of a step.
Not at all.
You would have to put the right structure in place, though, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
To make sure this time is used well and used wisely?
Definitely. There's got to be structure. There's got to be a plan. Otherwise, this could easily turn into your kids sitting on the couch, watching reality TV, eating chips.
All right.
Definitely.
Well, good perspective on both sides. Thank you so much.